Psalm 42 was written by David during the most miserable time in his life. David has aged well to this point in the kingdom. Sure, he's had his failures and his faults and his bumps and bruises along the way, but he has survived to a good age. He survived long enough to still have the combination of wisdom and energy. And if you can survive long enough to get a little bit of wisdom and you still got some energy left, life can get really sweet, you know. And David has lived to that point. He's watched his children go up, and then all of a sudden his son Absalom stages a coup, poisons the ears of all of David's generals and his cabinet, and Absalom convinces the military to put out a hit on David, to put a contract on his life. And so now, David, as a former shepherd, David knew the backcountry and he knew the hill country. And when David was a young man serving Saul in the palace as just a teenager, Saul had put a contract and a hit out on David's life. And so David has had to run for his life before. And, you know, when you've had to find foxholes in the past, you know where to run real quick if you need them in the future. The only thing is, it's one thing to run for your life in your 20s. It's harder. You get a little bit older. And so Absalom puts a contract out on his father, trying to wrest the kingdom away from him. And now, after all this time, David is running again. Sometimes you go through things in your life, and you get through it, and you gotta say to yourself, okay, I am never, ever gonna go through that again. And there's nothing that sours your stomach more than being years and decades separated from that trouble, and then all of a sudden that same trouble comes and knocks on your door again. You know, you got out of credit card debt, and you said when you made the last payment, I am never going to get in credit card that used to got you a bunch of envelopes and started stuffing them with cash, you know, cash for gas, cash for groceries, all that. You said, I'm never going to do it again. It's just funny how sometimes old enemies rear their ugly head and peek at you and blink at you a few times. And so David is back on the run as an older man now. Back under attack as an older man now. And one good thing about David is he always took his pen with him. And so from this foxhole, he starts to muse about his life. And in the first part of the psalm, he's talking about his trouble. And you know, I found something out. Trouble is highly stackable. Stacks easy, you know. Success doesn't stack easy. You can have success in one area of your life and you try to stack the others and it keeps falling down like a tower of blocks, you know. But trouble, it's just amazing. They just go together. And David is musing about his troubles and then he finds out on the way out while he's hiding, he finds out how cruel the enemy is. Because Absalom paid two people. He paid the assassin, but then he also paid a yodeler. You've seen yodelers, haven't you? I wish I could give you an example. I've always admired yodelers, but I can't yodel. It's not something you should try if you can't. But anyway, so where David was fleeing to in the mountain regions, There's something, if you ever go to the mountains, if you love the mountains, there's something you'll know about mountains. They can produce massive echoes. And experienced yodelers, they can stand in certain spots and reflect their voice to where it will bounce off the mountains, sometimes for miles. So Absalom paid an assassin, and Absalom knew his father was slippery, and he'd probably get into the mountains before they had a chance to get him. So he paid a yodeler to go to the base of the mountains, someone that knew the echo system, and hurl curses and slurs and insults at him. I might not be able to lay my hands on you, but I'll make sure the negative voice reaches your ear. You will hear the threat. And he paid this man. We find his name is Shimei. He paid him, in 2 Samuel tells us about it. And as David is leaving, making his escape, he's leaving hearing, God has forsaken you like he forsook Saul. You're a bloodthirsty man. God's not pleased with you. The judgment of God is upon you. And you know what this is? This is the voice of the enemy. The scripture says Satan is the accuser of the brethren. It's not just something he does, it is something that he is. And so while you're under attack, remember, trouble stacks. One way to know that the attack is motivated by Satan is voices will always come some kind of way. He'll make sure that echo gets to you. Voices will come telling you it's your fault, that this is the judgment of God, that God is angry with you, that you're in such a mess because of this, that, and the other, and it's all on you to try to pile on and beat you further down into the ground. And so in verse 1, David writes, as the deer pants for the water brooks, so my soul pants for you, O God. Now, one of the reasons this went so big, this song that was inspired from this psalm, one of the reasons it was so profound in Africa is, as Americans, we're very used to the panting of a dog. I can't yodel, but I can pant. Dogs pant every day. You let them outside to go to the restroom, they come back in. Dogs pant often. Deer almost never do. There is a survival instinct inside of a deer that when it is under attack from a predator and it begins to run, the deer will instantly shed. There's a button on the inside that its body pushes, and it will instantly shed 80% of its hydration to make it faster. Okay. And so, a deer running for its life is in great danger in two ways. Number one, it's in danger from the predator. Number two, it can only run so long. If you chase a deer long enough, it will just drop dead because of dehydration. On the occasions where the deer outruns the predator, for survival, not for thirst, for survival, the deer begins to pant desperately after the water. David said, that's what I'm like. I've been running for my life, and I'm almost dead. The pain of this attack has taken the strength out of me and drained me. I don't have nothing left. And so like a deer for survival pants after the water, God, in this stage of my life and where I'm at right now, I am panting after you. Notice, David knows no matter what the enemy said, no matter the negative things that I've heard, no matter the voices that are trying to condemn me and make me feel like I can't go to God, David knows God is the place you go when you're under attack, because God is the water for your soul that is dehydrated and depleted and running low and about to die. Verse 2, my soul thirsts. That's right, my soul thirsts. It's easier to quench the thirsting of your body than it is to quench the thirsting of your soul. And you know what I found out? When I was thirsty at 5 years old, a good glass of water did the trick. When I get thirsty now at 42, a good glass of water, guess what? It still does the trick. And it's like that for my throat. It ain't like that for my soul. What used to refresh my soul? Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk to me in here. What used to put it back in me? Sometimes in some seasons of my life, it was just a few days off, a vacation. You know. But have you ever gone on a vacation thinking it would rest you? And you get back more tired than you were before you left. And so there's all types of liquids, you know, Gatorade, you know, there's all kind of things you can take in. But David said, God, I recognize there's no other source for this level that I'm at. There's no other source for this level that I'm at. So he says, my soul thirsts for God. And then it's almost, the Bible doesn't include hyperbole, and there's no extra unneeded words. He says, my soul thirsts for God. But it's almost if that wasn't saying it enough. My soul doesn't thirst for things I've learned about God. My soul doesn't thirst for the accoutrements of God, like, you know, just a tabernacle or a church. Or my soul doesn't thirst for things about Him. My soul thirsts for the living right now, today God to be present in my life. Sometimes you need a right now God. I don't know if you hear what I'm saying. Sometimes you just need a right now in this moment God. It's kind of like the song y'all were singing so pretty earlier. You answered prayers back then. Well, that's about God. But I need you to answer prayers right now. That's a living God. You healed bodies back then. That's about God. But I need you to heal my body now. That's a right now. That's a living God. My soul thirsts for the living God. Then he says, when shall I come and appear before God? Why is he saying that? Because he can't go to the tabernacle. He can't go worship. He can't go where he is normally accustomed to going because he's got a contract on his head. And so four quick things. I know it's a holiday. You got to go. 4 quick things. Number one, 4 things David teaches us from the FOXHOLE. Number 1, recognize you're in a battle. It's not just life. It's not just mental health. It's not just age and stage. There is a real God, and just like there's a real God, there's a real devil. And if you believe in God, the devil hates you and has you on his list. And every now and then, he will attack you and assail himself against you. You are in a battle. And so Psalm 42:3, David says, my tears have been my food day and night. I feel like somebody's been living in that space. I want to pray for you today if you've been living in that space. I want to anoint you with oil and speak the blessing of the Lord over you. and minister to you today if you've been living in that space. My tears have been my food day and night. While they, everybody say they. While they, everybody say they. While they continually say to me, where is your God? Notice the they there. The enemy will use people as delivery systems of his warfare. So people are not the source. Satan's the source, but people can be the system. Oh, that's good. Hallelujah. People are not the source of our warfare. The Apostle Paul says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers. Okay, they're not the source, but people can be the system. And as you mature, your ears have to learn to recognize when somebody's just being crazy and having a bad day, or when somebody is allowing their vocal cords to be used by the enemy to bring an attack into your life. You got to learn when to recognize when somebody's just talking out of pocket, out of their head, and when their voice is being used. While they continually say to me, where is your God? Where is your God is one of the devil's favorite questions. He loves to say, where is your God? You've been faithful and you lost your job. Where is your God? You've been a worshiper, but you're battling sickness. Where is your God? And when you find yourself entertaining those thoughts and those voices and those questions, you need to stop and recognize, wait, this isn't just life. I'm in a battle. And to all of you who perceive that you might be in a battle, I have not come to instruct you on how to conduct spiritual warfare. Chronicles 20:15 is my instruction. Do not be afraid nor dismayed because of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Don't fight battles that ain't yours. Oh, God, I want to help somebody. I want to minister to somebody. Don't try to fight battles that are not yours. If you believe in Jesus, you have to learn sometimes to rest in the battle. I may be in it, but it ain't mine. It ain't my battle. Bow your head, raise your right hand if you're in a battle and say, it ain't my battle. Now say your first name. It ain't my battle. Now put your hand on your neighbor and say, it ain't your battle. Listen to me, you don't know who you're encouraging. You don't know who's been going through what. You don't know what people are facing. Everybody looks nice and is smiling here this morning, but bombs are going off all around some people in this room, and you don't know how encouraging a church can be. So one more time, put your hand on somebody's shoulder and with some faith say, it ain't your battle. It ain't your battle. Glory to Jesus. It ain't your battle. I heard you got the test results back, but listen, it ain't your battle. I heard they're going to take the house, but listen, it ain't your battle. They're talking about wanting you to sign some papers. At some point, it ain't your battle. Stop wasting your soul's small reserve of hydration that it's got left trying to fight battles that don't belong to you. It ain't your. I feel like I'm speaking to somebody's soul prophetically. Listen to me. It ain't your battle. Don't you wish you could just live for your kids? Don't you wish you could just jump into their mind and just make 10 good decisions? Then jump right back out and say, oh, this is very good. Yeah. But look at you all stressed out over what Junior's going to do. I know you love him, but it ain't your battle. That's why we dedicate our kids to God. Because at some point, God's going to have to take over. It's your battle. You can't do nothing about what's attacking you. The only thing you can do under attack is know what tower to run into for safety. It ain't your battle. Number two, refuse your soul's counsel. In a battle, listen to me. This is only applicable like in the thick of it, in the heat of it. In the battle, refuse to take counsel from your own soul. Listen to me. This is a note for you. Remember this. And if you don't need it today, put it in your pocket. You can't trust the counsel of a wounded soul. When you're hurting, your own inward voice turns against you. Something can happen that's negative, like on a level 3. Okay? Scale of 1 to 10, you know? Something negative can happen on a level 3. You know, it registers, it's on the scale, but it's a 3, it's not a 10. You let that 3 sit on you for a few days and thinking about it for a few days. All of a sudden, you will turn a 3 into a 300. Your focus is a magnifier. God made it that way. Your mind was created in such a way that whatever you focus on, you grow. Whatever you focus on, you magnify. So, when you're in a battle, by nature, and away with all this faith crud that says just have faith in a battle, nobody does that. You have a mixture. You have faith and doubt. You have faith and fear. Like Peter walking on the water, you can be full of both or have both working at the same time, okay? So, but your focus now becomes a magnifier, okay? And so what you have to learn to do in the middle of the battle is, you're in it, you have to learn to step outside of your own stream of words and consciousness, okay? In other words, you have to learn, I ain't telling me right. I'm probably not the best source for me to listen to right now, because I'm in a battle. Last part on this. In the middle of a battle, the internal voice that we all have, in the middle of a battle, your own soul becomes the counsel of the ungodly. Remember what David said in Psalm 1? Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, but your own soul can become that. Number 3. Hope in God out loud. Listen to what David says in verse 4. He says, when I remember these things, I pour out my soul within me. That's the negative there. That's the negative counsel. When I remember how I can't go to the temple, how I got a contract on my head, how my son's trying to kill me, all the failures that maybe if I was a better father, oh, the Lord have mercy. These things will come up. Something bad happens, and then all your regrets, they start piling up and flooding your mind, don't they? All the times you failed, every time you stubbed your toe, every time you made a misstep, all these old things, they come flooding into your mind. If I'd have been a better mama, if I'd have been a better daddy, if I'd have been this, if I would have been that, if I wouldn't have done this. It's all flooding into David's soul, and David said, I'm pouring it out. You can't trust the counsel of a wounded soul. And so in verse 5, he says, why are you cast down, O my soul? Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Look at the difference. In verse 4, he's speaking from his soul. And you can't trust the counsel of a wounded soul. In verse 5, he's not speaking from his soul. He's speaking to his soul. When you're in a battle, you don't need to speak from the soul. You must speak to the soul. When you're in a battle, the soul needs good words, and the only good words are the words of God. So David says to his soul, why are you so cast down? Why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. In other words, David is saying, I can't go praise him at the tabernacle today, but in the future, I believe I will be able to get there again. In other words, this battle's not going to last forever. Oh, your soul needs to hear that. Your soul needs to hear it from other people, but your soul really needs to hear it from you. Your soul needs to hear you say, I know it's bad right now, but it's not always going to be this way. I know you can't walk because you had the surgery and you're still recovering and it feels like you'll never walk again, but you need to tell your soul in a few months you're going to be moving just like you did before. You're going to get it back. You're going to be okay. I know you're battling to get out of debt. I know you're eating crackers and cheese trying to save money, but tell your soul it won't always be like this. We're not going to have to be doing this for the rest of our lives. It won't always be so tight. It won't always be so painful. We are going to come out of this. You got to say it to your own soul. In other words, you got to hope in God out loud. In good times, you can keep your hope bottled up. I've got Jesus in my heart, and that's the only place I need him. That's fine in good times. In bad times, you better get what you believe about God in your mouth and aim it at your own soul. Kids might be in trouble now, but I dedicated them to God, and I believe God ain't finished with them yet. All hell's breaking loose now, but I believe in God. I don't believe God's finished with me yet. God wouldn't have brought me this far to forsake me now. Soul, you are going to come out of this. Soul, you are going to be okay. Soul, you are going to recover. Soul, it's going to get better. He's hoping in God. Out loud. He said, you're going to get it back again. You've lost your standing. You've lost your position. You lost your authority. You lost your crown. You lost your prosperity. You're a king living in a cave. But you're going to get it back again. That's not false talk. That's just true in the nature of life. Listen to me. By the design of God, no storm lasts forever. You ain't never seen a storm that lasted forever. Every storm eventually runs out of rain. You ain't never seen a battle last forever. There have been some that seemed like they were going to, but they don't last forever. As long as the earth remains, God said there's going to be a cycle. There's going to be seasons. There's going to be cold and heat. It's going to cycle through. Listen, Whatever you're going through is not so big and bad that it is forever broken the very nature of this created universe. It's not going to last forever. I don't mean to be weird. Let me tell you this. It's not going to last forever. I don't mean to come off insensitive, but let me tell somebody who thinks it might. It won't last forever, and this won't be the thing that kills you. This won't be the thing that ruins you financially. This won't be the thing that lands you up under a bridge. It won't last. And so, that's great to hear that from me. And I'm appointed by God in your life to tell you. But it's better for you to hear it. It's going to be weird, okay? Just flow with me. Somebody needs it, so you all got to get on the train just so I can get one person, But listen, I want you to lift your hand, bow your head, no looking around. Let me be weird. You don't be weird. No looking around. I want you to play something. I want you to take 30 seconds and say something good to your own soul. Do it now. Do it now. Play something. Just play. Let's make some noise so they won't feel like people are eavesdropping on them. Listen. Play. Now say something good. Music's up. They can't hear you. Say something good to your own soul. Put your hand on your heart now. Say something good to your own soul. Think about the battle. Talk about the threat and say, God, I believe you're going to bring me out of this. No closed mouths in the building. If you're in the building, open your mouth and say something good to your own soul. Go. Say it. I see too many closed mouths. Say it. Online, say something good to your own soul. I believe this is why God brought you here today. Somebody's soul's getting filled back up right now. The water is coming. The hydration is coming. Hope in God out loud. Come on, I came to jump in that foxhole with you. There's bombs going off all around, but we're going to be okay. God's going to do what he said he would do. Number 4, David said, I'm going to seek your face because I'm going to see the help. I'm going to seek God, the help of my countenance. David was saying, in moments where I seek you, something about your face helps my face. Something about seeking your face helps my mood, helps my energy, helps my levels. So listen, here's what we're going to do. I'm here to pray for people that are in a foxhole. You're in a foxhole. Elders are authorized to pray always, but today I want to lay my hands on somebody, okay, that's in the middle of it. You're in a battle. You're struggling. You're wrestling. I want to invite you to come to the altar, and we're going to do 2 things. We're going to seek God's face through worship. We're going to seek his presence in our lives, and we're going to seek his touch. There were 2 things that the priestly blessing did in the Old Testament. Aaron got up and instituted it. First was, he said, May the Lord bless you. We need blessing to be prayed over us. But then the second was, may the Lord keep, preserve, defend, secure you. I'm here to release that second one, the keeping and preserving of the Lord. If you're in a battle, come.